Hey guys, Wombat here. Gonna narrate a tournament game going on here between Joke and StarDolphin. Pretty far down in the tournament here, and I have a ton of videos to still edit. But this is one that was done today. I filmed it on black, and then I think they're gonna flip me over here pretty soon. And then just kind of let the game run. So this is actually my first time seeing it. So we'll see how this all goes. Now I joined partway through, looks like turn 1 here, maybe turn 2. We got 4 missions going on at the moment. I think they just forgot the turn marker. And from what I can tell, looks like we've got a Star Destroyer on the queue. So Corellia made it either with a Rule by Fear or something similar. Looks like we had fairly standard deployment. It looks like a Y-Wing, if I caught that correctly, from Riken just flew into a Star Destroyer in Dagobah and got himself captured. Not 100% sure what was going on there. Maybe there was something going on that I missed from earlier. So in this one, Joke is playing the Empire and Dolphin's playing the Rebels. If you guys hear some noise in the background, I've got the dishwasher going. I also have the dog chewing on some toys. So if you sound like hear something weird, that's probably what's going on. And just pretend I'm inside a YT freighter or something like that. All right. So one of the interesting things that this tournament's brought out is lots of high quality play. So one of the reasons I like Rebellion so much is you can play the same people multiple times, and each game tells a different story. You've got different missions, different things going on, different types of Rebel players playing different types of Rebel plays. Sometimes the Empire builds all the starships, sometimes they don't get to build any. It's just fun. So we've got a build alliance that's already happened up in Nalhada. I think we are not on a build turn here. And then we just had Dodonna pull off an infiltrate. Again, I have no idea what they're infiltrating to, but if you take a look at his objectives, you can see we've got support of the huts, we've got crippling blow, we also have regional aid going on too. We can see a little bit of the probe map here as well. Looks like the first couple probes that were drawn were Ryloth and Bothui. Sort of helpful in this map, actually. Looks like Moncal. Yeah, looks like Moncal maybe started off neutral. Anyway, loyal now. Who knows? With the Death Star on Mandalore, I'm thinking maybe it was a neutral Moncal for turn 1, but I guess we'll see. So we've got Leia on an Uprising to free up Kashyyyk, it looks like. So will be an interesting fight here. There's only, it's either an ATST or a troop. Sorry, the resolution's not great here. That's one of the hard things about setting and forgetting. Pretty sure it's a troop. It's not going to score crippling blow here. Maybe he's just freeing it up for. I guess no deployment coming up either. I guess we'll just have to see. Maybe Riken was attacking that Star Destroyer to try to pull off a leader. That's a possibility. You can see Joke here. He's got all his available leaders already moved, and just the 2 left on missions here. So when you're playing Empire, sometimes what you want to think about is if you're able to keep some of your moves back to counter the Rebel player's moves. So what do I mean by that? If Mothma is on a build alliance, it's helpful to have a leader to move your units next to places that could be eligible to build an alliance. For example, if you have a Star Destroyer sitting in Seleucid and you have Cato and Bespin both open and Mothma on build alliance, Well, if you move to Bespin, then they get a free build alliance on Cato. Now, that's not necessarily such a big deal on a non-build round, but on a build round, that can be a big deal. Also similar, you can see here, Tarkin was on R&D. Well, once Leia plays Incite Rebellion, you know that Obi-Wan was not on Sabotage. So you can go ahead and play your R&D. It's basically just passing the buck back to the Rebel player and making them move something that you might be able to counter. Emperor could be on any number of things. I mean, we can see here, based on the missions, we know it's Rule by Fear. If this were base deck, he could be on, Display of Power. If it was, if it's rote deck, which it is, it could be on Deployment. So you always want to make the other player play guarded. Don't give them a bunch of free, easy decisions that they can kind of go up with. So, if I'm not mistaken, that's Reconnaissance that popped up for Obi-Wan. Or maybe it's Covert Ops. Yeah, it must be Covert Ops. We're looking at objectives here. You can see Dolphin, he's got Plan the Assault, which is nice. That can be used to go after the Death Star if it's not well covered. And if that is a Covert Ops, well, now all of a sudden we're getting into level 2 objectives. So he's going to grab one here potentially, and then one again, and he will have gone through two of his five deals. So, and that's pretty quick to get to level 2 objectives so fast. Let's see, what are we drinking tonight? We've got decaffeinated Lipton black tea. No sugar, no milk. People who add sugar and milk to their tea are weird. Disagree with me in the comments below. Let's feel free to do so. All right, we've got Emperor on Rule by Fear on a high percentage play on top of Vader, which is fine. No problem there. Ward's a nice place to have. It's a pretty common place to get Sabotage, so if you can make that loyal, it usually works out. All right, rote deck. Let's see what Joke's got going on the rote deck. He's got 2 Imperial Mights. I have a hard time with rote deck as Empire. I know a lot of people prefer it, but it's a tough can of worms for me to figure out. It's probably because I'm not a big capture player. Oftentimes, people that, if you've played against me, you know I tend to not. I tend to not try a lot of captures. Captures can be tricky because you need the capture to work, and then you also need the torture mission to work on top of it, and either one of those can be blocked and totally ruin your day. All right, we got Krennic here on Lord Vader's orders on the perfect turn. I love Krennic this turn or next turn, depending on how often the rebels are infiltrating, because you can just see if they have Death Star plans. Now, if you glance up at Dolphin's hand, you can see he does have it, but Joke will be confident now that he is holding on to Death Star plans, because when Dolphin infiltrated and when he covert opt, he didn't move any level 2 objectives to the bottom. So when he's looking at these level 3 or level 2 objectives now, because there's no Death Star plans, you know the Death Star is going to be a target. Now, the downside here is we're not on a build turn, and there's no shield bunker on the queue. So there's kind of limited things you can do to protect the Death Star here. Putting an AT-AT under it, not going to do a whole lot except get it stranded there if the Death Star gets blown up. Although this round there's not a whole lot to go after it with. The Nebulon is obviously on turn 3, but in theory, if you had held the Rebel transport back, you could fly in with the transport and maybe 3 ships. That'd be a little bit of a Hail Mary. And then you could drop the transport card to block 2 hits. It's not as good as the Nebulon card, but it's also available in a pinch. Something that can be done. All right, what else we got going on here? And here we go. Rebels probably debating on using Lando, who, if you've listened to my other videos and me complaining, Lando is my antithesis, man. I can't stand Lando, especially independent operation. Here's the problem. He's got to move some troops. So does he move it to the Star Destroyer next to the Death Star? I don't know. he's not going to be able to cover that Moncal system easily now. I mean, he can go over it with the Death Star and then laser it if the Death Star doesn't blow up here. Which, I guess, again, he's probably not going to blow up the Death Star because he doesn't have the Nebulon out and there's not quite enough starfighters there. So, I don't know, that independent operation makes me question what the plan is here. I think if I'm the Empire right now, I'm fairly confident in Jar Gerard being able to defend the Death Star if there's anything suspicious going on. And then probably just walking over Moncal and lasering it, and then probably gaining loyalty back in probably Seleucami. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, looks like we've got a rule by fear down, no gather intel, what else is down? R&D is down. Interesting. So the other thing you want to think about with Lando is, you know, what else would the motivation be? It might be to prevent discovery of the base, so maybe the base is in Moncal. If the base is in Moncal, it's going to be a rude awakening here for sure. So yeah, we've got a rule by fear, we've got a laser, and we've got an R&D down for the Empire. Probably should have shrunk the chat box there. No promotion still. You know, if I get promotion in the rote deck, I'd love to play that early. I don't often play mercenaries just because I value leaders that can move, but if I can get promotion early, that's a gotta play. Sometimes I will play promotion and then also double back with a capture. You can even put like tag on the capture if you don't want to put Vader down. So you promote with tag, you promote with Tarkin where there's a leader, or Mahdi if you have Mahdi, and then bring in Krennic's Finest and then flip tag over to execute a capture on there. That's always kind of a fun combo to pull off. Okay, and we got all 4 Rebel leaders on missions now, with Lando sitting by the Death Star, and Leia is opening up with a rescue to rescue Riken. That seems like a reasonable thing to let happen. I don't think he's got any torture cards down. So go ahead and let Riken, who flew into the Star Destroyer, go free. Sorry about the dog there. He's defending the door against nobody. Finny, leave it. If you've listened to my other videos, you've probably heard him in the background before. His legal name is FN2187, but we just call him Finn. Alright, what else do we have here? Got a lot of dorky Star Wars stuff in my house. Got a plethora of Star Wars Legos. Got a B-Wing, that's pretty cool. Made a Lego stand for it. Alright, Vader subjugating Utapau here. See what he brings along with him. You can see he's got the Utapau probe, but can't let that other Moncal come out. Also can't let the other one come out of Moncal either. Alright, Obi with an infiltrate. So you got Obi on infiltrate, and then you've got Dodonna on card. If you're Rebels, you're probably, I mean, you can see based on his hand, it's not plan the assault. So, I mean, if you're Rebels, are you worrying about plan the assault? I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking about here. So here we have a challenge. You've got Krennic to move, but you also have Build Alliance to try to hedge against. So, you know, I guess you gotta put Moncal out of its misery, though. So everything moved up there. I early on in my rebellion days as Empire, I probably had a 10% win rate. I'd win 1 out of like every 10 games. And what I had to do to shake things up is I had to stop doing missions. Now I'm not saying Joke's not doing the right thing here. That's not my point here. What my point is that when I played, I was attempting too many missions that could be blocked and that didn't give me enough benefit. So if you find yourself stuck as Empire, for the first several missions, or for the first several turns, like probably through the first 2 build cycles, at least through turn 4, try to limit yourself to like 1 or at maximum 2 missions. I know that seems weird, and then try to have your missions be something that gains you value, like that covers a space. So for example, if you have trade negotiations and Leia's not back to block, trade negotiations to me counts as a move because you're covering a loyalty in the system. Same with like deploy, but trade negotiations also gives you a unit. If you have display of power and the rebels don't have the ability to block, by all means use display of power and count that as a move. But try to keep your other missions, your your captures, your gather intels, that sort of thing, to a minimum, and keep a large amount of units available to move, and then move them around the parts of the board that rebels can produce units at. Because, man, if rebels don't have units, it's real tough for rebels to score objectives. So, again, if you find yourself struggling, and when I inevitably go through a losing streak, the first thing I do after I have a chance to be angry for 2 days straight for no reason, because I take games way too seriously. After cooling down, I usually just get back to basics and stop doing so many missions. Now, sometimes it's fun to do missions. It's fun to feed people to the Sarlacc, and it's fun to freeze people in carbonite and, get 3 captured leaders done and all that sort of thing. So, it's just a game, so do what you like. But if you find yourself struggling and losing, oftentimes what happens is I just let rebels build too much stuff, and that makes it too easy for them to do objectives. So, all right, let's catch up here. End of round 2. About to go into, and I think we're actually at end of round 3 here, because we're about to go into a build round. I think I'll catch that here on the move icon. Okay, grabbing some probes, some missions. We got a interrogation droid, which gets discarded. So Joke is not going for captures here, and maybe that second Death Star, because he's still holding on to that card, so that'll be fun. And dropping promotion too. Yeah, I like promotion because that way if you get confronted, you've got another leader available, but it's got some good missions here. So now we've got Jabba's card that came up. That's a tough one because now if you keep promotion, you can actually take advantage of Jabba's card, but discarding it kind of puts you in that tight spot there. That's okay though. Jabba's still good. Let's see what else we got going on the Rebel side. I believe that might be K2SO. Don't know. Can't see. Should have zoomed in closer. Rebels scoring no objectives yet, but boy, they have a setup that's about to cascade. They just pulled no leader left behind, or no captured people on the board. They have the 6 loyalty objective, and right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a fairly easy one to score. They're not super close to regional aid right now, but they are close to support of the Hutts, and then if you get support of the Hutts, regional aid's not far behind as long as Janice doesn't show up with Imperial propaganda. So this Rebel setup is one of those that the Empire might find the base or might get close to finding the base, and then all of a sudden Rebels are going to score 6 objectives in 3 turns here. Death Star plans, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a combat objective. They've got crippling blow too. Yeah, it doesn't look so good. And we got double Moncals here. Double Moncals? Yeah, we had double Moncals on turn 1. So yeah, definitely must have been a Moncal start with an Utapau game. Or maybe temporary alliance. I don't see temporary alliance down there. Alright. Well, now, let's see if Rebs can score some objectives here. I don't actually have much for crippling blow. They can't yet. That's probably the right idea. Transport in Wookiee land. And maybe they go after that AT-AT to score that up in Toydaria. And then Empire's got a Star Destroyer. Star Destroyer on turn 4 to deploy is nice. Oftentimes I don't get that, so I'm always envious. Sometimes you get a build on Coruscant, but then it gets either demoed or Rogue Squadron raided, or, you know, I don't know. All sorts of terrible things happen to that first Star Destroyer if it survives a sabotage and a build alliance in Corellia. Alright. Let's see where we're deploying here. If he had Rebel Assault, that would be a juicy one to score with double Moncals. You can just fly right out into wherever. Yeah, it looks like he's going to use the Moncal to move the troops and then probably try to score crippling up in Toydaria. If he had Rebel Assault, that would be nice too. That'd be a sweet Star Destroyer to take out. Pin the Death Star in the corner. Most of your transport in that area is gone. And then if you're in, if you're in Tatooine or something like that, that's pretty good. Even Kessel, have to pull that. That Death Star is pretty exposed with no shield bunker under it. Now we've got the Nebulon in the base too. Okay, so a second Star Destroyer up there. So we're just going to have a fight. 2 Moncals against 2 Star Destroyers. I would definitely pick the Moncals in that fight. I'd probably put the shield bunker under the Star Destroyers too, to tell you the truth. Just being able to remove that damage and get everything to survive. Moncals are so brutal with their initial assault because of fleet logistics. If they fly out with a Y-wing, you can fleet logistics and then drop a bombing run, and if they roll crits, your overwhelming presence doesn't do anything. If you remove damage with a shield bunker, all you're doing is nullifying the Y-wing card at the expense of not deploying a second ship there. So it can be pretty tough. So we've got kind of an all-in mentality going. Now that being said, it might work out. You've got, you don't have the Emperor's card, but you could drop the Emperor in, and then if they retreat, you could track them. I mean, that would be good. Action card do the Rebels have there? I think it's Obi-Wan. I think it's Noble Sacrifice. Alright, and then I was not paying attention to who put what down on what, so we'll just play the figure it out game. We've got Mothma, we've got, I think that's Cassian, and then got Obi and Dodonna on cards here. You can see Obi's got his rescue card in the hands of Dolphin at the moment. And they've also got a hidden fleet and plant false leads, which is a nice combo there. Empire, what are we doing if we're Empire? Don't know. I don't know what we're doing if we're Empire. I don't like that fight coming up at all. Is what it is. So where do you guys think the base is right now? My guess is it's probably Hoth or Endor. Maybe Hoth or Endor. Let's think about that. If you had a opportunity to grab a loyal Moncal and a loyal Utapau, and you knew the Empire was going to head up in that direction, I feel like you might not take Tatooine. I didn't see what the initial deployment is, but I feel like Hoth or Endor is probably right. Dolphin likes to play cheeky sometimes. I've had him pick Alderaan on me a couple times, so could it be like a Cato or Alderaan? Maybe, but probably not if there was a Star Destroyer in Corellia at the start. Oh, the other thing you got to be a little bit worried about too is if you got to watch out for like a hit and run plus hidden fleet into Coruscant scoring core, Heart of the Empire. If you are not careful with your moves. So, all right, going back with a rule by fear. Also in R&D. Sounds like we're going to hurry a Star Destroyer along too with Gerard's card. I don't love that move because I really feel like you got to be careful with the Death Star here. And here we go, playing the assault. Yep. That's totally what it was on. I guess I knew that. Yep. Playing the assault. Okay, so this likely is not going to go well. So maybe we'll block it. 3? Nope. Dolphin rolled more than 3, it looks like. Okay, so let's talk about this here for a minute. So we're going to have a couple of TIE fighters, 3 TIE fighters, and a Death Star, and the Emperor. Okay, so we're going to have 7 dice that we can roll. And they've got the Nebulon, which means you're going to have to do 3 damage to each of the starfighters, which just is not going to happen. Now, he doesn't have 1 in a million, so it's not a guaranteed thing. Instead of the rerolls, if you have Gerard here, you play his card, it wipes out the Nebulon, and then it can't remove damage, or you can't. Well, yeah, I believe that's true. Is that true? Yeah, because it's at the start of combat. It blows it up. So then it's no longer valid to play. Now, they could do it to flip the combat, which means then they're rolling for heals, basically, which is still good. But then if that happens, you can play the TIE Fighter card, damage a TIE Fighter, then you got some other rolls that you can hit. You might stand a little bit of a better chance. That being said, now that Gerard's on a mission, you can still laser the Nebulon, but you're going to need to survive this first round. And then damaging things here isn't really going to do a whole lot of good because they're just going to remove it with... Emperor didn't roll too well there either. All right, so we got Death Star plans. Let's see, 50-50 to roll a crit here. Dolphin's going with the black dice. And 1, 2, 3. There it is. All right, 2 points for the 2 points for the Rebels, and also the Emperor stuck, hanging out on top of that. Now, that's okay. It is what it is. Try to make, anytime something like this happens, you try to make lemonade out of lemons here. So what do we have that's working in our favor? Well, we've got 2 things. The Star Destroyer didn't get smoked by the Moncals, so that's nice. So you can move it out of range of the double Moncals and the Y-Wing, or you can fly into a Moncal and take it out with 2 Star Destroyers, which I like that. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. So 2 Star Destroyers, looks like he's picking Nalhutta. Probably bringing ground is my guess. Yep. And then this is, in military terms, they call this being defeated in detail, which is your troops are out, they're trying to get to the same location so where they can converge, but instead they basically get counterattacked and picked off one at a time. So now Dolphin's got to decide whether or not he's going to assign a leader. He might, he's got 2 back, but that's okay too, because if he assigns a leader and it survives, then it moves to the Y-Wing and that Y-Wing's stuck, so that's not the end of the world. Or he might just let it get smoked, which is okay too. Now what to play here, you got a couple of choices. If he sends a leader, meaning he's probably going to try to save it and retreat it, he's definitely going to block 2 hits, so you're going to have to roll for crit. So you're probably not going to be able to do something sneaky like try to capture Lando or whatever. Instead, which Joke's got the right idea here, you just do damage. So Dolphin's blocking hits, and He's got 2 on the Moncal right now. And let's see how these Star Destroyers fare. Okay, we got those 2 blocked and 1 crit rolled. Another head. Okay, so it's got 4 damage on it. That is not right because there's no transport in the system. So yeah, you can only block black hits there. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4 damage on the, yep, that's right. 4 damage on the Moncal. Now it can heal, which is definitely a possibility. So he'll have 2 red dice and 2 re-rolls to try to roll a heal. And yep, roll to heal. All right, so that Moncal's alive. You know, and that I'm sure if you're Imperial that feels bad, but honestly, just getting rid of the Moncal card is huge. I never count on winning a space fight if there's a Moncal and the Moncal card is involved. I just don't plan on it. So don't build your whole strategy around that. If you've got Ozzel and you're flying 4 Star Destroyers into 2 Moncals, you're probably not going to win that. So just don't count on that. All right. Ground combat looks like this is going a little better. And now Lando's got to make a decision on what to do, and then Joke's got to make a decision on whether or not he's going to track them. So Lando is fleeing, Krennic is in Nalhutta, and then the right chain of events is move Krennic back so everything's finalized and then play track them. But no tracking. Okay. Then Dolphin going up for Toydaria here. Now he no longer has a crippling blow angled here. Okay. And then we've got next turn to figure out what to do too. So now next turn the Empire, the turn 4 deployment really favors the Rebels in most games I play. Now it may just be my style, so this may not be what you see, but turn 4 deployment, oftentimes it's 2 Moncals on the board to 1 TIE Fighter is what gets done there, because I often don't get a Star Destroyer build the first turn, and 2 Moncals is not totally out of the norm with support of the Moncal and Mothma's card and Utapau and anyway. So where you can make up for that is with project cards or with after turn 4, if you have good control of the map. You can see Joke here's got a couple of ATE or a couple of assault carriers and a Star Destroyer coming down the queue. So even though his Star Destroyers are pinned in a corner right now, he can drop an assault carrier there and turn the odds because Moncals are no longer blocking hits. So if they're attacking and they can't flip the combat because they played whatever, they could play the no heal card, but we've got overwhelming presence. So we can block hits and turn the tide. We don't have to worry about flipping the combat or anything like that. So, all right. Dolphin's adding to his endless pile of objectives here by starting to go through level 3s. So now as level 3s, you got to be worried about where you put Vader and where you put the Emperor. Not quite as much with the base deck as the road deck. Road deck, they can just play behind enemy lines and poof, 2 points. Base deck, they've got to win like a Incite Rebellion or something like that, and Vader and Palps both have diplomacy skills, but yeah, that's a thing. All right, we're getting Death Star number 2 on the map in Dagobah. Mothman building an alliance in Toydaria. That's nice. That's support of the Hutts, so you gotta be careful. Now, Jabba, I believe it's Jabba's on Rule by Fear. So popping Rule by Fear in Nalhutta is a great place to do that. And we are Imperial Mighting in Dagobah. that's cool. Imperial might drop the shield bunker. Okay, I'm into that. I think you can Imperial Might on a Death Star under construction. Pretty sure. You could probably even probably not wait for the Death Star to come down. Just drop it in and get it going. I think that's a good idea. A wise cookie monster once told me that the best counter for a Mon Calamari is a Death Star with a laser. So, I mean, by the time that Death Star is under commission, ready to go, you might be cycling through to lasers again, and maybe those Mon Cals are still a thing. But we are on turn 4, and you figure Dolphin's probably going to score 1, 2, 3, probably 4 more objectives at least, plus 1 more in the deck. So if I'm Empire, I'm thinking let's move the objective marker up at least 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. We probably need to win this by turn 7. Also, the turn marker's totally on the wrong spot here. I think they'll figure that out, though. All right, drop in Sabotage. See where that goes. Oh, we might actually have 2 Imperial Mights going on here. Fascinating. Oh no, we don't. We have Gerard. Okay, that's cool. Move the Death Star down, move the Star Destroyer down. Okay, I'm into that. And then Jabba's got a Rule by Fear up in Nal Hutta. Even though it got sabotaged, doesn't matter. You can't let that objective score. Utapau. Okay, going for the build. Yeah, they did fix the turn marker. That's tough. You gotta level 1 objectives are if you're trying to play as Empire and you're trying to block objectives, it's very difficult to try to manage level 2 objectives. But if you try to block level 1 objectives and keep an eye on those, that can oftentimes make or break the game. So we'll have to see how this ends up with that extra Sport of the Hutts going. Sport of the Hutts plus Regional Aid is now only 1 away as well. So if they grab Kessel, then you got Regional Aid, and there's no diplomacy mission that popped up. You need Janice's card at this point. Okay, we got Sweep the Area. We've got Blindside for the Empire, and the Rebels have that might be Chewbacca, might be somebody else, don't know. All right, we're going with Blindside and see if we go with Boba Fett. Yep, Boba Fett it is. Okay, now we tossed all of our torture cards except for the one we just drew, and then also Lure to the Dark Side. So we do have Lure, and we still have Jabba's card, so that could be a good impact there. Dolphin getting a couple of decent missions here too. We've got a Star Destroyer to deploy now up there too, so it will be interesting to see if we go all in on this space battle and drop a 3rd Star Destroyer there, or if we decide to get back on track and chase down the Rebel base. One thing that would have been fascinating could have been to put the Death Star out in Hoth or something, because after the excuse the waterfall in the background, after the Death Star plans were played, we're all the way down to level 3s, so we'll see. Looks like Dolphin infiltrated to Uprising, so he's definitely going with a loyalty play here. A little bit risky, because if Janice's card pops up, that's going to be 3 or maybe 4 loyalty, depending on how hard he goes at Kessel here. So we've got a public Uprising that can score Crippling Blow. All right, and Got a couple of leaders on Uprising here. Get Obi in there for the rerolls. Could we see double Death Star plans executed there? Maybe. Maybe if we hold on to Uprising. Also, the other thing is... other thing to think about is with Boba Fett coming out, oftentimes that means that imps are feeling like they're going to capture. So maybe throwing Obi on his rescue card might not be the end of the world here. Oh, and we stripped Madine, stripping the ground forces off of Geonosis. That's kind of an interesting play. Maybe Tatooine for a base? We did the other Star Destroyer in... I like how we say we. I'm always playing the Empire in my head. As you can see with the way I set up the camera here, right? So we've got the Star Destroyer in Dantooine, or in Megiddo, probably heading to Dantooine and Dathomir. I can't see if those probes are out there or not. Probably with the idea of the Death Star is going to head down and do the Mustafar, Hoth, Endor dance. Yeah. I kind of like the second Death Star. I'm not going to lie. I almost never play it because it just feels like a 2-point liability to me, but it sort of feels good here. I mean, I'd obviously rather have a Super Star Destroyer or even an Interdictor, but beggars can't be choosers, man. So here we go. And let's also see what we decide to do with this big battle up here. So nothing the Empire can do outside of, I mean, definitely if the Rebels come in, definitely send a leader, and then if they attack, just pop out and counterattack again with track them, I think. I think that's what that's got to be. There's probably going to be a lure attempt here. I would guess we put Boba on capture, Emperor on lure, and maybe Vader on break their will, and just try to pull off some sort of a combo here. Break their will and then pick Endor as the region, probably. Grab whoever's going to infiltrate. It looks like, I think that might be Noble Sacrifice. I'm looking on a real small monitor here when I'm doing my editing, so if you guys are seeing it and you're like, it's obviously not Noble Sacrifice, that's just because I'm looking on a tiny monitor, because that's how this editing software works. But yeah, if Obi's not on a mission by himself, then he's not the one doing the infiltrating. It's probably Cassian, which then means you can capture, lure, break will all in one, because he's not going to be very good at blocking any of those. And then with the leader, with double leaders, you know you're going to have the initiative, so you can just kind of wait. And then no Chewbacca to ruin your day either. And Lando's already played his card, so I guess the other thing you would need to worry about if your Empire would be undercover. So like Lando could be on the board and then undercover to help block the capture. Alright. Seems pretty reasonable. No breaking will, but we'll see. Alright, Mothma's going for more Moncals, so got the Magic 3 on the board now with the second Nebulon to run at the second Death Star with. And right away with the capture. Nice move. Okay. See if that goes off here, if we roll all blanks. Whew, just barely. Alright. Obi not on a rescue card, but they are on an uprising, which is a very good move there by Dolphin to strip that ATST off the board. And then Leia will be free, or then Mothma will be free. And we're going to try to block that, looks like. Don't think that's worth the block there. I think you're just toast. I mean, I get that we want the want the dude, but I guess it gets you the reroll too. And do we have the ATST card? We do not. So damage the speeder with the red dice, and then two other crits. I just don't think you get there. Oh, they're going for confrontation. Oof. Brave, brave. Are they? Yeah, they are. I don't know if I'd confront there. It looks like it's going to work, though. Maybe that's not an ATST. Maybe that's a troop. Yep, Gerard. Fighting it. Yeah, that's just a troop. Nope, that's an ATST. All right. It's toast. Leader is free. Sad for Empire. So, could you have waited out the infiltrate? Maybe. They probably infiltrate on the same spot Mothma's at, but maybe could have waited out the public uprising. Yeah, don't know. A little trigger happy. Oh, deploying into Endor. And we've got Lando up there who can block that. Or we're not going to do that. We're just going to, okay, and no confrontation left. So here we go. Found the base. It's an Endor. All right, not Hoth. And you got a Death Star coming out, and the you've got an assault carrier there too, with a second assault carrier on the queue and uprising used already. So all right, I'm going to say that capture was a great move because it forced the uprising out. Man, how this game works is what I'm talking about. Narratives, man. Vader leading his 501st into the fray here, but forgetting his 501st card at home. So instead, we'll just do damage. Try to kill as much in the base as possible. One, two. Okay. 2 troops for 1. Vader sitting there. Now, see, we could have captured in Endor too, but then Vader would be dead. But that might be okay because then you lure Lando or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, Lando didn't show up. It was just Mothma. All right. Well, whatever. 2 speeders in Endor. Lando working on the Star Destroyers here. So probably Tarkin, or if it were me, I'd send Krennic, but that's just because Krennic never lets me down. He always fails when I need him to fail and succeed when I need him to succeed. And that is a massive rebel force there. Yeah, Krennic gets you that second ground roll too. Whew, big fight, big fight. I like big fights. No shield bunker there, though. So, again, as Empire, think about what they have. They have the no heal card, they have the cancel card, but no frigate. They have an X-Wing card, and they have an ion cannon. So you have to assume they'll probably play no heal or the ion cannon. So how do you prevent that? You prevent that by damage. So there you go. 1 damage in, 2 red hits to be blocked. And Rebels roll in 5 red dice. That nullifies 2 of them, potentially. So probably going to have a wounded Star Destroyer, but at least you have a chance to heal it. And by wounded, I mean it's probably dead, but we will see. Got that green, too. That's no green. No Ewing. Okay. Not a super great roll by Dolphin there. Make sure to block those red hits. He's going for black hits. Okay. So even damage on the Star Destroyer. 1 red hit blocked, it looked like. I think they may have miscounted the red dice, but it doesn't matter because there were no heals rolled. Okay, so we've got both fighters dead, and unfortunately no Mon Cal dead. That's what he needed there, but is what it is. All right, ground units. In defense, this is just fine because that gets this card back, and then you play your block hits. Yep. Okay. Yeah, rebels flip the combat. Actually, you may. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's a big force. Not a lot you can do about it. All right. It's a dead AT-AT. One heal. Crit. Yep. Two troops dead. And a wounded AT-AT. Oh. And rebels deciding whether or not they're going to retreat. And then if they don't, Empire can retreat. To Kessel only, but yep, Empire's retreating. So no objective. Nice, no objective for the rebels. Boy, that's got to be frustrating. That seemed like a good crippling blow. Great crippling blow opportunity. But that's all right. They can score the loyalty mission here, the 6-1. They could gain loyalty in Kessel too. Although Mothma played her card already, so not great opportunity in Kessel with that retreat. Now Krennic moving to Bespin. Gonna have a fight down there. Rebels in a little bit of a tight spot with that base being revealed because they can't deploy there. And if they gain loyalty in Mustafar, that assault carrier can nullify that. So you're going to have a hard time picking off that. That item. Now, the other thing you got to think about if you're Empire here, and it doesn't look like there's undercover out there. It does look like I think that's Obi's card. But if that was undercover, there could be an undercover rapid option there for Lando. So Empire plays a card that can be blocked, Lando undercovers, frees up the Moncals, they rapid back to the base. Oh no, they can't rapid back to the base because Endor's revealed. Yeah, the whole thing's just, that's kind of a mess for Dolphin right now. It's a pretty clutch deployment there. Alright, and Empire's got full ground cards back. So removing a troop. And no heal there. So we got 4 in Bespin and 2 speeders left. And a build queue coming up. And get a couple more ATSTs down with the ATST card. Now speeder card is back. Yep, building an alliance in Mustafar. That's the right move. Nice move, Dolphin. And unless the only other thing would have been would Dolphin or would Dodonna want to attack Bespin and then potentially play the retreat card to retreat back to Endor? I don't know about that. Maybe. Seems kind of sketch. There's no more Imperial moves though, so that's again kind of the downside of having too many leaders on missions is you don't have the move flexibility here. So let's think about what deploys are going to be coming up here in a minute. So we'll be able to definitely get a Y-wing out on Bespin. And okay, gonna get an ATST and a from Ord. And then we're covering Seleucami here, it looks like, to score. Cut supply lines? Nope, no cut supply lines there. Just to get in position for the Star Destroyer. Oof, a rapid wouldn't have helped. Well, not a whole lot we can do here, I guess. You'll score that. Puts you up. Crippling would have put you 1 closer. And that's really the only thing that could have done. Couldn't have scored both no leaders and also, so Rebels got to last about 2 more turns, I think. 1, 2. Yeah, probably 2. They need to score crippling blow, regional, and then, or maybe uprising with if they pull contingency plan here. Because they're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're at 6. So contingency plan for 7, build alliance for 8. Not quite to 9. All right, we got Boba, we got Tag. Tag's nice. I like Detain this late in the game. I like Detain this late in the game. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. That assault carrier can get popped in Bespin, and then we're going to have a little bit of a tricky situation on our hands here. Now we can minimize it with a shield bunker. The idea would be they attack out into Bespin, pop the shield bunker to suck up 2 hits for the bombing run. Although I don't think they have bombing run. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Wow, lots of other uncovered areas too. We got Ilum, Dantooine, Yavin. Oof. Lucky Gus with deployment for sure. Major Victory is the other combat card here too. So in theory, Dolphin can score Major Victory with the 2 Y-Wings, depending on what Joe puts out there. Yeah, I probably can't score Major Victory. Oh yeah, maybe if he puts a second carrier out. Because what could happen there is you put a second carrier out, the Y-Wings take out 1 and like a TIE fighter or something when you pop the TIE fighter, spawn a TIE fighter card with your assault carriers because you're trying to be efficient, and then the carrier goes down and the TIE fighter goes down. Could probably score, or I guess the other place Major Victory can just happen is over Kessel. That's probably the more logical spot. And then you can score Crippling Blow somewhere too. That'll give you 2 points. No leader left behind. You've got Obi's card. That'll give you 3. So Dolphin can definitely end it right here. Or the Y-Wings could fail the attack and end up with... Y-Wings could miss and then end up with a single assault carrier taking out 2 speeders. So what do you think will happen? 10 minutes left. It's definitely going to get decided on this turn here. So there's 100,000 objectives. A lot of other stuff has been played already, but it definitely ends here, because if a rapid gets off or if these objectives get scored, it's going to be GG. A Wookiee Uprising popped up. That could have helped for loyalty, but it was already loyal, so not that much. I would bet we see a rescue. I'll bet we'll see Obi on rescue and Maydeen back for... Yeah, Maydeen and Cassian are on rapid. Seems okay. It just depends what you're going to open with. Oh, nope, they're not on rapid. I think you have to open with the attack, because your hope is to wipe those Y-Wings. And yeah, if I remember right, there's no bombing run left. Should be a good one. What else do we have that could salvage the day here? Can't really hidden fleet anywhere. Plant false leads isn't really going to matter. Maybe you load a plant false leads and a rapid. I think you open with the attack though, and I think you definitely keep a leader back to help if you're, because you can win with the 2 speeders too. Now that you've got tow cables back, tow cable wipes the first ATST, and then there's 3 troops there, I believe. And then you have you have 3 troops on 1 speeder, and then it's just who rolls the crits, who rolls the hits. Sorry about the dishwasher in the background. All right, Vet going for the bounty. I probably don't need to break the will. You know where the base is. Oh no, Fed's not going for the bounty. All right, got detain coming. Okay, all seems reasonable. And opening with an attack. Cassian on the two carriers. And he's bringing the troops with him too. And this, of course, is my camera's off center here. So I apologize for that. Just is what it is. Now I think I show up and correct this here, but maybe not. It's definitely possible it doesn't get corrected. All right, so we played the no card next turn on on the attacker's side, and then Rebels 1 miss, 2 hits, and 2 misses on the reroll. So 2 hits, we got 2 damage on the potentially on the on 1 assault carrier. And I did not see any casualties cleared, so I'm assuming those were... No, they had to be red hits. So we have probably 1 dead assault carrier. Oh, there we go. Nope, no dead assault carriers. We had 2 dead Y-wings is what we had. So they rolled, missed. Ooh, we spawned a fighter there. That's risky for major victory, but that's okay. And then we've got the 2 troops here on... We've got four troops in ATST. So we're probably playing block hits here. I want to try to keep your stuff alive so you can go for the base. Also, you could just play the ATST card and wipe everything, and because you can move in with... Oh no, you can't move in with Tag because he's on detain. Probably Boba on detain and Tag available for his card. All right, let's see what we decide to do here. All right, play a card again next turn. He's going to wipe a unit with hold him back, and then not play a second card. Okay. 1 more troop's dead. And nope, 2 troops are dead. Okay. All right, so we got 2 troopers dead and a transport maybe retreating down to Endor, or maybe not retreating down to Endor. I guess a little bit of a consideration there, whether or not you want something back to block. Now the fight at the moment looks like it would be a pretty good one. You've got an ATST and 3 stormtroopers against 2 snow speeders. And downside is there's no tow cables card, but there is a ATST card. Now the killer here is this blind side combined with hunt them down. Boba does not need to roll because there's no Cassian in base. Now, why not retreat Cassian? Well, the idea is maybe you play Obi-Wan to defend if who has 3 rerolls instead of Cassian just having 1 for ground combat. But unfortunately, that means hunt them down automatically succeeds. And now Dolphin's got 1 mission left in the bag here. So in theory, maybe an incite rebellion or something along that lines maybe helps, but all we've got is a rapid to put Maydeen in the base with 3 rerolls, and then Vader goes in to close the fight here. So it's a bit academic at this point with the ATST card being played. The Rebels have a block a red hit card, so Vader would just need to roll 1 crit with 5 dice and 3 rerolls, so 8 dice to roll a crit. Pretty good chances of that happening. And that's what happens here. So anyway, thanks you guys for watching this tournament game. For those of you who have kept up on the tournament, thanks. You'll see here we've got other videos you guys can watch in the playlist. We're getting close. We got about 2 weeks left on the season portion of the tournament, and then we'll go into the bracketed stage. So that should be pretty fun. So again, thanks for hanging out with me. Next video out is a co-commentary with a fellow player of mine and friend from online, Doobie, and should be a fun one. He is a player that consistently beats me over and over again, so it'll be fun to get his perspective on a game where we comment on one of our own tournament games, and then we'll do the next one after that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, and see you around.